Hi Laura, how you doing? I've got you queued up here, and I want to take a look at a closer look at your work. Okay, and I think that you're taking the logical progression from the first, from the cover to the back, following the colors and some of the design elements, being the diamonds and some of these other um, Arabic sort of design elements. Okay, there's a couple of inconsistencies, and I think once I point them out, it's gonna make a little bit more sense to you, Laura. So let's take a look at the back. Okay, there's a lot going on here. Um, I really think that the best way to approach this assignment is minimalism. I think that it's impossible to really concentrate on communicating with typography expressly when you're using these other different kinds of design elements, the timeline, the requirements, the text, the requirements, the headline requirements, the front and back cover requirements. There's enough there that we can form meaning without having to depend on these other design elements. And I really think that that's an issue here. And let me tell you what I'm talking about. Let's just go back to the first page, okay? Now, the first page is good. This is a great mark. I really think it's drawing attention. It does what a poster wants. If this is across the room, I want to see it. I want to walk over there and see what it is because it's so very interesting. Once I get up to it, though, I'm seeing, wow, there's some mixed signals going on. And of course, I'm Joe Average Viewer thinking here. So I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay, okay, I know that that was an Arabic mark, but what's that background and what are these starbursts? I don't understand. And then you have your type, and then now is where I'm starting to fall apart because it doesn't seem the type is following any sort of a grid. And I don't know how you set your grid up, but I've got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 column grid. I set up a 7 and a 6 and some other tests here, and I just can't see where you're following a grid. Look at this, for example. Okay, this overhanging the end here, it might seem like it's a good, solid design move, and in the right situation, it might be. In this situation, it's not, because I think the most important thing for this assignment is to adhere to the grid. It's going to tell the viewer the most it can about your knowledge of typography in the smallest amount of time following the grid. Okay, so don't make your viewer guess. And when I'm saying viewer here, I'm talking at the end product. I'm talking about your portfolio and using this in your portfolio, like having a potential employer possibly looking at it. So these comments are meant to that end, so to speak. I think this should be a white background. I really do. It's such a gorgeous mark that it's just, I think the background is just eliminating all the contrast and all the beautiful little elements about this mark. Okay, and then again, I just got to see a really, really solid grid on the front. Okay, now let's take that and move it back to the back cover. Okay, that grid now. The idea is to take your grid that you've set up on the front, overlay it on the back, and follow the grid again. So in this thing, we've got the background pattern again, which is kind of throwing me a little. And then you have so many different elements that are basically look like they're randomly placed. Let me explain. Little decisions like this. You see where you have this margin set up here, but then you've broken it here, you've broken it again here, and you've broken it again here. So that is just, and actually you've broken it again here. So that's just something that's just really throwing us off mathematically and organizationally. Visual organization isn't really making sense here. Let me give you a couple other examples, and I'm going to Command R this so I can bring up some guidelines. Okay, there's a guideline right there. Okay, the 8 is overhanging. Okay, this is not following that. It's not aligned to anything here. If we pull out another guide, we can see that that isn't aligned to the 8 or nothing else. This top of the text here, it's not aligned to anything. This text right here, as we can see, that's not aligned to anything. So we really have some alignment issues here. And I can go on here, this 6 right here, well, it's almost aligned to the E. but and so on and so forth. Okay. And what we've really got to have is some alignment and then some organization based on hierarchy, based on scale. Okay. Right over here, we have this front grid. Okay. And like I said, however many columns this is, I've got a 1, 2, 3 on the left-hand side. So if we go over here and those 1, 2, 3, they're not lining up. In other words, your margins aren't even here and here. The bottom margin here isn't even with the bottom margin here. Okay, so all of these things really have to be taken into consideration. I don't know, maybe it is there. I didn't really check. And then this right here, all this type right here, count your characters here, but I'm going to bet there's got to be close to 70, and that's way too many. I would split this up. I really would. I would do something really super interesting with this paragraph, like right here, like really adhere to the grid. Maybe put it in 3 columns. 3 columns there, and then follow, I don't know, just really try to work on consistency and really grouping and not having everything look so random on the page. I hope this makes sense. If it doesn't, just contact me and I'll try to explain it further. Thanks, Laura.